Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But today I'm hitting the city of Southlake, mainly because it is top of a lot of people's lists, especially if they can afford to move here. Now, where is Southlake located? Now, I am actually driving down Southlake Boulevard, I'm heading west. So I got off the 114. Let's say I'm kind of coming from the city of Grapevine or the DFW airport or even downtown Dallas. And we are heading west right through the heart of town. Now, Southlake Boulevard is going to be where you're going to find the majority of the commercial things that are happening here in Southlake. Everything from Southlake Town Square to grocery stores, lots of restaurants, and a lot of it's going to be right here along Southlake Boulevard. Now we're getting ready to come up on to Southlake Town Square, and eventually we will go through and show you some of that. But I kind of wanted to drive you through town to just kind of give you a sense of what it actually looks like. It's not super busy right now. We are not in rush hour traffic, but this is the main road you'd be going through unless you went a little bit further north over to the 114 freeway and say you actually wanted to take the freeway and head down to the DFW airport, like I said, Dallas, or maybe around over into somewhere like the Frisco, Plano area. So Southlake is located within Tarrant County here in Dallas. We've talked about it a lot. There's a lot of different counties. So we are in Tarrant County. We are just south of Grapevine Lake, and on the west side of Southlake is going to be Keller, and then we're going to get over on the east side, you're going to have the 114 border, and then you're going to be over into Grapevine. And on the south side is going to be the city of Colleyville. Now, like I said, the city of Southlake is pretty affluent. The median price point of homes out here is around $1.2 million. So you obviously need to have a little bit higher of a budget in order to be able to afford to live here. Now, if you're going to need to get over to, let's say, downtown Dallas or downtown Fort Worth, for example, both of those are kind of beneficial by living here in Southlake. It could take you about 20-30 minutes to get to either one of those areas. So depending on maybe one of the people in your family needs to commute to Fort Worth, one of them needs to commute to Dallas. Here in Southlake, it's pretty centrally located for both opportunities for commuting. And again, if you need to fly out of town quite often, the DFW airport is really only about 10 to 15 minutes away. So super convenient location, which is another reason why a lot of people want to move here to the Southlake area. So moving over to Southlake, say you've moved from somewhere like downtown Dallas into one of the other affluent neighborhoods that are down there. That's definitely more of an urban feel when you're living somewhere like Highland Park or University Park, or even over in like Lakewood around White Rock Lake. You're definitely getting more of that urban lifestyle. But you still want a really nice home, you still can afford a really nice budget, and you choose to kind of move out to the suburbs. Well, that's what you're gonna get by moving here to Southlake. You're gonna have a lot more of that suburban feel, yet you're going to have a ton of the conveniences and the amenities and the things to do by moving over to Southlake. It really is ideal for people who are wanting to live more of that quiet, peaceful lifestyle, but you're still wanting to be part of an upscale neighborhood and still being at the same time within reach of some of the big city amenities. It's a little bit further to get over to the city of Frisco, for example, where a lot of things are coming in. So the only problem with driving through the city down Southlake Boulevard is going to be all the stoplights, and especially during rush hour traffic and having to get backed up and stopping at all these stoplights, it's not super ideal. The 114 freeway is really not too far on the north side if you do actually have to commute long distances and you do want to hop on the freeway. The 114 could be a little bit out of the way. So kind of how Southlake is set up, if you're south of Southlake Boulevard, it might be a little bit more inconvenient to get all the way over to the 114. But just kind of wanted to show you the main road through town so you could kind of get a sense of if you did have to drive this every single day, you wanted to head over to the gym, you wanted to get over to Southlake Town Square, this is pretty much the road you're going to be doing a lot of things on, plus a lot of the shopping. If you have your gyms, if you have your boutiques, your eye doctor, your dentist, a lot of it is going to be down here along Highway 140, or down here along Southlake Boulevard. So we are going to be getting here to the end of this a little bit. I do want to go and drive you through some of the neighborhoods out here. We'll talk a little bit more about housing and what you do get out here in the city of Southlake here in just a second. Now, even with the high price point of homes here in Southlake, with the median price point being 1.2 million, but being a very strong family-friendly community, I know we've had these crazy market shifts, especially a few years ago when everything was going crazy. Well, even at this price point, the housing market here in Southlake has really remained pretty steady. Unless a home needs a ton of work, even at some pretty high price tags, as I look through comps and as I look at houses for clients, the market holds pretty good out here in the city in Southlake. So if that's something you're worried about, that maybe you can afford it, but you're kind of worried about what you need to spend on a home. So just kind of something to think about if you are considering where it is that you are looking for your next house. But here, I mean, just kind of take a look at all these houses. In fact, not sure if you can see all the ice down that particular fountain over there, which is a little bananas. So as I drive through a lot of these neighborhoods, you're not gonna find your average master plan community, like I said. Some of these neighborhoods will have community pools, but you'll also find a lot of parks. So if you have kids, granted, if you have a big house and a big backyard, you're probably gonna have your own little park playground in the back for your kids, or at least the people who are living there are. But you're still gonna find a lot of that throughout most of these neighborhoods. So you will always have reasons to be outside. And as you can see, a lot of the trails that run through these neighborhoods, they're absolutely beautiful out here. So I could drive these neighborhoods all of the time. And you'll also find a lot of small lakes within some of these neighborhoods too. So just definitely kind of giving you an idea of why people want to move here, just because of the look you get, the feel you get, and again, just having you really have that sense more of living out in the suburbs, living out in the country, yet you are super close to a lot of your big city amenities. So being able to get over to Southlake Town Square, for example, and have dinner, do a lot of shopping. And in Southlake, in the town square, is where you're going to find a ton of events that take place, which is just another reason that brings the entire community together. All right, so I'm a little further south here in Southlake, and I am on Continental Boulevard. I would kind of call this another main road that does travel all the way through Southlake. Kind of goes from Keller, and it will head out all the way over towards the 114. But this is south of Southlake Boulevard. Again, it's called Continental. And look at these trees. This is so pretty. So even in the summertime, you should drive out here during the spring. I will try and get a video on that. All these trees will be in bloom. It is absolutely stunning, but you can see how pretty it is with the overhang and how the trees kind of drape over the road, and it's just really beautiful. So Southlake does not feel like they need a lot of big major roads here through town, but they do have a lot of these beautiful roads. And here, as we keep going, now we're kind of driving through, this is part of the Timarron community, the Timarron master plan community that they have out here. I would say this is probably the biggest one that they have. Many different sections here. We have playgrounds, we have ponds, we have multiple community pools, but this is where the Timarron Country Club is and the Timarron Golf Course. So if you want to join the golf course, you want to go golfing, you can have this right here in your backyard. But there's a lot of wide open green spaces, a lot of beautiful trees throughout these beautiful neighborhoods. Now, it is one of my favorite neighborhoods over here if you do want to live in more of that master plan community. And I do want to drive you through it just so you can get a sense of it. In fact, I came out here over Christmas time, and so many of these homes over in this neighborhood were completely decked out. Actually, I guess I shouldn't just say here in Timarron, but I don't know if you just get that community feel. So when so many of these homes are decorating, it just really makes it stand out. So it's a big, beautiful neighborhood, and I just wanted to kind of give you an idea as we drive through here what the Timarron community looks like here in the south end of Southlake. Now, actually, a little part of the Timarron neighborhood over here is actually part of the city of Colleyville, down over kind of on the other side of one of the lakes over here, but part of it is going to go into the city of Colleyville. But the majority of it for sure is part of the city of Southlake. Again, it's another beautiful established neighborhood. We have all of these gorgeous trees, but there are a lot of houses that do overlook the golf course out here. And I'm going to kind of turn around here in just a minute so that you can that we can go the other way to give you an idea of what it looks like. Now, also here in Southlake, which I want to touch on really quickly and drive you through here a bit, I did say that there are condos and townhomes here in Southlake, and they have some beautiful ones right here. Your prices are definitely going to be over $1 million to get into a townhouse or a condo over here. But as you can see, we have these beautiful green hills. You can have your townhouse overlooking, and back when I lived in Old Town Alexandria in Virginia, this is what it reminds me of. You have your cute little townhouses that are overlooking the green space, the little walking trails, and it's like its own little community, and it's right next door to Southlake Town Square. So you can live here, you can even work here. There are businesses up above in some of these areas right over here. But more importantly, you can walk to your Trader Joe's, you can walk to your grocery store, and you can walk and do all of your shopping right here in this particular little area. In fact, I love these little stoops over here, these little colonial looking townhouses that they have. Totally reminds me of when I lived in Virginia. They're building more condos and townhouses over there. And then straight ahead are the luxury condos that they have. They do have a gate and a doorman to get in there, but they do have some extra amenities by living there in the condos right here in Southlake Town Square. And again, it is walking distance to pretty much everything that you're going to need. Now, even in the 12 and a half years that I have lived here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I have seen a lot of growth come in here to the city of Southlake. Granted, it's almost like everything is here in Southlake. Not everything, of course, but there is a lot. We have this newer shopping area with, you know, the West Elm. Oh, we even have an REI. I mean, granted, I've been over here. REI, we have Michael's, and I mean, that's just talking about a few of these, obviously, but we have so many different restaurants. We have so much shopping that has come in over here. And across the street, we do have a Central Market. We have Nordstrom Rack. We have, you know, your DSW. But as you can see, tons of restaurants, lots of different shopping. And this is just right here in this particular shopping center in Southlake. And then I'm going to take you across the street to over, and we'll drive through Southlake Town Square, give you a sense of that. But again, in the 12 and a half years that we've lived here, a lot has continued to grow over here in the Southlake area. So if you live here, you really kind of don't even need to leave here. So lots of different options. Now I'm going to drive you through Southlake Town Square. This is a lot of shopping, a lot of dining. In fact, tons of restaurants are over here. You know, your Starbucks, your Lululemon, but this is also where the city courthouse is too, if you ever need to go vote. But all of your big community events and activities will be taking place right here in Southlake Town Square. Not sure if you can see this whole little center section here at Christmas time. They deck this whole area out, put an ice skating rink. Santa Claus is out here under this big gazebo overlooking the little lake right out here. But you have Oktoberfest. There is a big art festival that Southlake has. Obviously, lots of different holiday events and community events. And everything kind of takes place right out here in Southlake Town Square. But more importantly, if you need something to do on a Saturday, you have to take your teenagers school shopping, for example, or you want to come out and grab dinner, there's a lot that can happen right here. In fact, easier for me, You tell your husband to take you to dinner out here so that you can get a little bit of shopping done all at the same time without having to drive all over town. So it just really gives you that small community feel, and it just is very community oriented. In fact, out here in Southlake, the school district is the Carroll Dragons, and at any community event, you will see a lot of it represented because there is a lot of pride with the Carroll Dragons. You might not even have kids in school anymore, but you still might be supporting the Carroll Dragons at different events. So just another great thing about being out here in Southlake, living here in Southlake and having access to this. And even though I don't personally live here in Southlake, this is pretty convenient for me. So we do come out here quite a bit for shopping and eating. And again, like I said, this is probably where we like to come for date nights because I can get a lot of things done all at the same time. And there's some pretty decent restaurants right here in the town square, but also a number of different restaurants all along Southlake Boulevard. So this is where people come to do all the things that they need. And if you live in Southlake, you're going to be hanging out quite a bit here in Southlake Town Square. Now, speaking about your everyday needs by living in a community like Southlake, Southlake also does have a Costco. This is probably the Costco I come to the most. They have a Trader Joe's now. Well, it's actually been here for quite a while, but if you come to Trader Joe's, this is the closest one we got. They also have a Central Market. So they kind of have all of those luxury things that a lot of people request when they move to a particular city. H-E-B, you are going to have to drive a little bit further out over to the Alliance area. Who knows if one will be a little bit closer here, because that's the big thing of how quickly are they coming here to the DFW area, the H-E-Bs. I don't know, it's a grocery store, but people do have their opinions, and there are a lot of them. But again, your Trader Joe's is right here, right off of Southlake Boulevard, here in Southlake Town Square. Central Market is right across the street, so you kind of have everything you need right here in Southlake. Now, Carroll ISD actually only has one high school. Well, they actually have high school, which is 9th and 10th, and their senior high, which is 11th and 12th. And then they have, obviously, middle schools, and then their elementary schools. But all the schools here are very highly rated, especially their high school. And that's one of the number one reasons why, if people can afford the price point of homes here in the Southlake area, it's a huge draw to try and get their kids to go to Carroll ISD. Obviously, if you do prefer to go more of the private school route, they have Westlake Academy. There's private schools over in Colleyville, so they do have some private school options that are not too far away. But being able to get into a highly rated public school is very desirable for a lot of people, which is why they like to move over here to the Southlake area. So something to think about if you do have kids and that's what you are looking for. Southlake is kind of the place to be in regards to school, especially if you maybe have some very competitive children who are very much into sports, or like I said, even academics. They have some fantastic programs in all different kinds of sports, not just football, even though that's kind of the thing here in Texas, obviously. So you want more information on that, feel free to reach out, because we have had friends whose kids have gone to Carroll ISD, and we also have previous friends and clients who work within the Carroll ISD school system. So lots of great things going on with that, and we would be more than happy to help you out, which is obviously why I always say reach out to me if you have any questions about where to live here in the DFW area. I'm a licensed realtor, and I would be more than happy to help kind of narrow down and find you the perfect place to live. So all my information is down below. Reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and let's talk about it. All right, now let's get into what do we do here in the city of Southlake before we get into all these great neighborhoods here in Southlake. Let's kind of talk a little bit about what there is to do. Now, right here in the heart of Southlake, not too far away from Southlake Town Square, is what they call Bicentennial Park. Now, we do have the Mark, which is right over here, which is event space. They have an indoor gym, indoor pools. You can join it as a family. It's very inexpensive, especially for your family. You can rent out conference rooms in here, but really nice area for businesses, as well as some fitness facilities in there if you don't want to just go join your regular Lifetime Fitness. Their baseball fields over here are top notch. They also have brand new pickleball courts. We have tennis courts out here, some wonderful playgrounds for kids, splash pads, and all of these walking trails all throughout here. So when you come out here and you see your kids practicing baseball or soccer, or taking a tennis lesson, you can go wander all of these trails all throughout this particular area, which is pretty fantastic. So if you're gonna have kids that are gonna join any sort of a sport here in the Southlake area, they're most likely going to be over here at Bicentennial Park quite a bit. Now, there are multiple parks here in the Southlake area. They also have a pretty fantastic, it's quite beautiful, the Timarron Country Club that you can join. It is public, even though there is the Timarron neighborhood. So if golf is your thing, they do have a fantastic golf course right here in the city of Southlake. Obviously, you have golf courses not too far away as well. Over in Colleyville, you have them right here in Trophy Club and in Westlake. In fact, Westlake, I'm pretty sure it is a private club that you do have to kind of be vetted to join. But if you live in Westlake, you can also, your kids are also zoned for either Westlake Academy, which is a private school, or the Carroll ISD. So it's right here on the border. It's not as big of a city, but it is also extremely expensive. Their price points a little bit higher than even living here in the Southlake area. So Westlake is another one that I did just kind of want to mention, just because it does go into the Carroll ISD as well. But as you can see, this whole area right here through Bicentennial Park, Southlake really kind of one-ups all of their neighboring cities, I guess you could say. When you drive through Southlake, you can tell that the city really takes care of what they have, and they take a lot of really great pride in the actual city here. You will notice as you do drive through town that there are no apartment complexes here in the city of Southlake. So if you are looking for rentals are a little bit harder to come by. They do have some very high-end condos for purchase, but if you are renting something, it really is pretty much a single family home, some sort of a townhouse or a condo, because they do not have any apartment buildings at all here in the city of Southlake. So another thing to kind of think about, you can find apartments down in areas like Highland Park and University Park if you're really wanting to get into one of those school districts, but apartment living, you're not going to find that here in Southlake. You're just going to find these single family homes. Now, I am driving up through one of, it's not a main road through Southlake here, but this is where you're going to find a lot of these neighborhoods right off of Southlake Boulevard. So just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like to drive these streets through Southlake, drive through some of the communities, and just kind of give you a sense of what Southlake really looks like. Because here in Southlake, even though they might have some, we'll call it master plan communities, but you are not going to find cookie cutter homes here in Southlake. You're going to find gorgeous estates. Some are definitely going to be bigger than others. You can find some homes that are obviously a little bit older, but these neighborhoods are going to be very well kept here in Southlake. I guess I could mention there is a very small trailer park here in Southlake. Buy your own double wide or single wide if they come available. But overall, actually living here in Southlake, this is kind of what you're gonna get. Very high-end luxury homes, bigger homes on bigger lots. It's really not your just average cookie cutter neighborhood like a lot of these other master planned communities that you're finding all throughout DFW. Now, if you are looking to maybe build a home, the only thing that you're going to find here in Southlake are going to be custom home builds. They're not building any, like I said, master plan communities. They do have some smaller communities that they are still building in, but if they are building, it is a custom home with a custom builder within the small little neighborhood. But overall, looking in these particular neighborhoods, this is kind of what you're getting. I think the architecture out here in Southlake is really beautiful, and even just driving through here at Christmas time, these houses are stunning. And of course, even though the average price point, like I said, is $1.2 million to purchase a home here in Southlake, you can find homes in the mid $700,000 range, but also you could find a $27 million house out here in the city of Southlake too. So that, my friends, was a little bit of a tour of the city of Southlake. I took you through some neighborhoods. I took you through the town square. I took you through pretty much the main roads all throughout the city of Southlake to give you an idea of what it would be like driving those roads every single day. So if you want more information, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I love helping people find that perfect spot to call home here in the DFW area. There are so many great areas, neighborhoods, and reasons to love living here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And any questions at all, my information is always down below. Reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Let me help you find that perfect place to live here in the Dallas-Fort Worth